system. What is an operating system? Okay, so you have a computer. So basically we have discussed things about a computer or a laptop, motherboard, processor, right? We discussed about a hardware components. We discussed about CPU, we discussed about RAM, we discussed about a BIOS, we discussed about a hard disk. Okay, so like this, we have a hardware devices are there. But how to work with these hardware devices? How to work with the hardware devices? I want to give a command. Where to give a command? Want to give a command to do something. I want to do A plus B. Where to do? Right? I have a hardware. I have given a empty computer is fixed and I given. Okay. So how to give certain input, certain command, certain instruction to our computer. So we need a certain interface. And computer understand binary kind of language. Okay, so we cannot write or we cannot speak the computer based language. We have to speak. We are speaking high level language, right? We are speaking high level language. Okay, next. Okay, so we are need to a interface, means user need a interface to interact with the computer. User want to run some application, right? I'm drawing on a paintbrush. Paintbrush is an application. I typed in Notepad. I'm accessing websites from the web browser. I'm giving a commands in the command prompt. The command prompt itself is an application. It is an application, right? So we need an interface. We need an application to run. You want to play games. You want to do word process. You want to do paintbrush. Okay, so we have to run a different kind of applications. So for that purpose, we need an operating system. This operating system, one side, operating system provide a user interface and provide an environment to run your applications. In other side of operating system interact with your hardware and make it hardware to run your instructions or commands, your process on a hardware devices. Okay, that is a operating system. So then what is this operating system? It's simply a program or a software. Operating system is simply a program or a software which provide a interface to the users, run a user applications, interact with the hardware, run user commands or instructions, load user instructions, right? Okay, that is a operating system. You want this kind of stuff also, you can put it this picture. And keep aside. Okay, what is an operating system? So here it is. Operating system is a software which acts as an interface between end user and a computer hardware. Okay. Every computer must have at least one operating system to run other programs. Operating applications like a Chrome, Google Chrome, you are using Word, you are using me playing games. We need an environment in which it will run and perform its task. Okay, you want to do certain tasks, you want to do interact with certain application. We need an environment to run applications and provide a user interface. OS helps you to communicate with the operating system, communicate with a computer without knowing how to speak computer language. You know, guys, when I was in my diploma and engineering in both the places, I have a microprocessor programming, 8085 and 8086 microprocessor programming. Okay, I use assembly language. Even assembly language is also higher than a machine language. Like your C++ language is there, na? That is called a high level language. But assembly is a mid, okay, not much easy. But still it is not computer language. But we have to feed an instruction to the processor and check it, the outcome of it. Okay, so for us it is very difficult. Like we have to pass in the lab means you have to write a program. Like you people know C++, you have to write a program and you execute on a computer. Right? This is not like that. You have to write a program and you have to type program one by one instruction to the CPU. One small mistake, entire practical is damaged. Okay, so even that is difficult. But if you know usually best example at current time, most of the people don't know what is a computer, how to work with a computer. They are working. Okay, they start working on laptop, working, school kids, learning, doing exercises, practicals or examinations on laptop only. So what is the thing is there? So they don't require to know how computer, the language and how to give feed and instructions. Even I'm not feeding any instruction. I'm just simply I'm using an application and keep working on it, right? So you don't need to learn the how the computer language, what language it is. The operating system help you to do that. Without operating system, it is difficult to operate your computer or a mobile phone. Okay, so you have a mobile phone, even a small mobile, featured mobile phone, also having a computer, also having a some operating system. So then you can interface with your device. Okay, so that is the main points in what is operating system. Actually, this is a good thing, but we will see how much we can able to manage. Guys, as a given here, operating system two parts. One is interact with your hardware. Another one is provide a user interface and run a environment to provide an environment to run your applications. Okay. So what is those two parts of operating system? One is kernel, another one is a shell part. In generally, when you are learning about a Linux based operating system, so you have to check about um, um, where is the black color? When you are learning Linux based operating system or Unix based operating system, so there is a compulsory operating system kernel part, shell part. When you are learning about Windows based operating system, they don't discuss about a kernel and shell. The difference is in Windows, we cannot manage shell or a kernel part. Linux and Unix, we will manage kernel and shell program wise. We can able to give a commands, kernel based, shell based commands also we can do it. But even though guys, whether it is Windows operating system or Linux or Unix operating system, operating system mainly two parts. One is kernel part, another one is a shell part. Okay. What is the kernel part of operating system and shell part of operating system? Kernel part of operating system with interact with the hardware. Shell part of operating system interact with the user, provide user interface and run user applications. Okay. So this is the basic things. So there is a diagram. It's not much easy diagram. Yeah, I think so. I downloaded a something from here. Just copy paste purpose. So for a time being, otherwise I will draw. Generally, I like to draw, but now not a good timing. Okay. So it is a Linux base they are giving, but still it is good thing. It is. Even it is a Windows or Linux, guys. Even in my PPT, there is a Windows architecture, kind of stuff is there. Okay. So here it is, our operating system. See, I have a hardware. Hardware means CPU, RAM, motherboard, BIOS, all these things, audio chip, video chip, all these things comes under hardware only. Hard disk, CD-ROM, hardware only. To interact with the hardware, so what is the operating system part doing? Kernel. And of course, you have an applications, command interfaces, user interfaces are there. So these are all will be understand run by your shell only. For example, I given a command or I open an application, shell understand what are you doing, what you are required, and shell convert into the kernel understandable language, kernel convert into hardware understandable language. Hardware means the processor process it and give it to your kernel, kernel give it to shell, shell show on your screen. So kernel management is hardware management, like a disk management, process management, network management, memory management. These are all comes under kernel duties only. Shell duties are like this. Shell interact with the user and provide user interfaces running in applications. Windows having its own shell called as UI shell we are using. What are the shell we are interacting? Generally, guys, when it is come to the kernel and shell, already I told. So when it is Linux and Unix, we discuss these things. Okay. So, but any operating system, two parts, kernel and shell part. So one is the most frequently used, so the Linux and kernel. So the currently using is Bourne against shell. Bourne against shell. It is a newer version of Bourne shell. Not only these shell, there is a different type of shells are there called as C shell, K shell, T shell kind of stuff. Okay, different type of shells also available. Bourne again shell is the current shell what we are using. Bourne again shell. So different shells are there, but in Windows we may be different shells. So we, yeah, tell me.
Warn against Shell is a sales name.
Are you
Sir,
talking to me?
yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
What is warn against Shell?
What is?
Warn against Shell. It's kernel. Kernel maybe. It's a part of kernel. No, sir.
Yeah, kernel is kernel or kernel, whatever the what it is. Okay, yeah, both the way you can spell. Kernel interact with your hardware. Mean like a process management. I open some application. The application we are looking at an application, but how processor understand. Okay, how what you are drawing on it or you are saving it, how it will understand how to run that application. So the shell will convert into kernel understandable. The kernel will give it to the process. The processor will do all the process and give it to kernel, kernel to shell, shell to as we are getting. Okay. So you're running process management, memory management, all these things, how to, which is a input device, what is output device, all these things at a kernel level only. Okay. Device level management.
Okay, sir.
Device drivers also in the kernel. Like you connect a printer. Example, you connect a printer. Now you want to take a print. So you given a print command. So system don't may not understand what is your given. Maybe your shell understand, but your processor and printer may not understand. What we need a device drivers. So you install a device drivers. So the device drivers are nothing but in the kernel mode. It will make your operating system to understand how to communicate with the printer. It is also a piece of software. Okay, so your kernel knows the kernel is attached with a new set of instruction to communicate with the printer. So when you given at a shell you given a command to print, now that will be go to the kernel and kernel to the driver and the printer. The printer is given print. Okay, that's a good thing. Okay, kernel and shell. Kernel interact with the hardware. Shell provide a user interface and interact with your application kind of stuff. Okay. So few small points are there, guys. Okay, everything is even very small. It is most helpful to understand lot of things. Here it is types of operating system, not type of operating system, types of operating system. Difference is okay, not one type, guys. It's a different kind of types are there. Depends upon their situations and all. So we put a like this types of operating system. Here it is simple operating system and network operating system. Simple operating system and a network operating system. Simple operating system is like a desktop OS type. You have a desktop operating system like Windows 10 is a desktop operating system. It is simple operating system. Network operating system. Network operating system, the operating system meant for provide certain services through the network. Okay, you are getting web service. That is network service, web related communication. You want to download a files and upload a files, file related services, DNS related services, authentication related services, storage related services. Okay, these are all through network services only. So where we are installing these kind of services in the server operating system. So that server type of operating system called as a network operating system. Okay, simple operating system and network operating system. Guys, in this types of operating system, not only that, different types already I told. So here it is, user and task-based operating systems are there. Single user, single task, single user, multitask, multi-user, multitask, single user, single task, MS-DOS, MS-DOS, single user, multitask, single user, multitask. It means Windows-based operating system, both Windows Server or Windows desktop operating system comes under single user multitask. What is single user single task? Only one user at a time can interact with the system. One login, one task at a time only you can able to do it. Single user multitask. I am logging now. So no other user means if I have a multiple accounts in my PC, one user is there, secondary user, third user, fourth user in my PC, but only one user at a time can be able to log in. Either directly means physically or through network. We can access through network also. Single user, single task, multi-user, multitask. Sorry, single user, multitask. Means I can do multiple things. Only one user at a time they can log in, but multiple tasks we can run. I'm currently running a web browser and there is a paintbrush and there is a notepad, there is a command prompt, there is a PowerShell prompt, and
This
there
is
is
networking.
you tell me.
No, no, it's okay, sir.
Okay, multiple tasks I'm running. Okay, single user multitask. Windows operating system is the best example. Multi-user multitask. Multi-user multitask. One system, multiple users, either physically or through network. Only one system, multiple users can able to log in at a time. Multiple user accounts can able to log in at a time, and of course they can run a multiple task. Best example is Unix and Linux based operating system. Okay. Okay, these are the another three type of operating system. Multi-user, multitask means multiple users can log in at a time, either directly to a device or through network. Okay. Next, in another point of operating system, there is a real-time operating system. What is real-time operating system? We are all using a common operating systems like Windows operating system, Windows Server operating system, Linux operating system, Unix operating system. These are all, it's a commonly available, means different hardware supported operating system. Maybe some are paid, some are not paid, but I am using Windows means other machine also using Windows. Okay, in the world, so many people are using same type of operating system. It is not designed for specific hardware. Any multiple type of hardwares can use Windows operating system, Linux operating system, and Unix operating system also. Of course, including Mac operating system. Okay. Next, what is this real-time operating system means depends upon my hardware device. So I designed a particular system, a hardware. So I develop an operating system which is working for that particular device only. Think like satellite station. Think like satellite station. Okay. Rocket, Air Force, even small devices, small interactive devices also, interactive systems also, that design a specific type of operating systems for them. You know why it is very important. So if you want to search like one YouTube, we can search one fun video is there. It's not fun video, actually it is a part of series. So this is the scene, okay. So they are working in one space kind of NASA based space station. It is okay. What happened? So there is it's a control station actually. It is so they are controlling this. Some satellites getting some problem. They have to resolve within 4 minutes. Okay, so they open a system and it is showing Windows is getting updated. So wait for 40 minutes. Okay, So that's the same. So that's why people use real-time operating system. It is not like other generally available or a commercial operating system. It's designed for a specific hardware, specific purposes, specific user interfaces only, not for a every system. Okay. That is one some information about your real-time operating system. Next one is distributed operating system. Distributed applications, distributed OS, meaning is they will run in a multiple hardwares. One application run in a multiple hardware kind of concept. It is. I'm not going into depth of that one, but I'm going to this Windows, mobile operating system, guys. Already I told not only your smart mobile phones, even in earlier days of simple mobile phones are there now, the featured phones, what we call it as. It is also contains some operating system. And now maximum popular operating system, Android and iOS. And outside, so we have Android or iOS only. But still there is so many other operating system are there. Nokia, from Nokia Symbian operating system, Samsung Tizen, BlackBerry, the actually more popular smartphone is the BlackBerry that time, because BlackBerry operating system and BlackBerry mobile phone, email support, the separate internet base it is. Windows Phone, Windows-based operating system for mobile phone is also from very olden days, but it is ended with the Nokia Lumia series. Okay, it's not because of Nokia or Windows. It is also a competition. That time Android mobile from Samsung, we got a 6,000, 6,500. In that time I purchased mobile Windows phone Lumina series 520. Okay, so Android is having lot of application support is there. Windows phone don't have more applications, and people are the tiles mode again feel bored in that one. Okay, so long list application support, tiles application support they don't like it, so they it is eventually it is fell down, and compared to futures and cost wise it is has its own cost. Okay. Next, iOS is always demand. iPhone is almost like people crazy about to buy that one. It has its own features and okay. It has its own quality, cost, features. Okay, so compulsory. You should better to know. Already I told no better to know about Android and iOS operating system. Not required a core operating system differences, but at least to know basic usage, user-wise differences. Let's understand what is a operating system and what is kernel and shell. What is this part? Type of operating system, types of operating, simple operating system, network operating system, single user, single task, single user, multitask, multi-user, multitask operating system. No one is speaking anything, guys? Understanding or not understanding?
Understand, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, here it is. We discuss here about a simple operating system. Okay, so I said example desktop based operating system comes under simple operating system. Network operating system or server based operating systems comes under network operating system. But what is the use of desktop based operating system? What is the purpose of this one? Okay. So Desktop operating system are used to run applications. What are the general applications we are running? We play games, data processing related multimedia things. We do web browsing, we do programming, we do play video, audio kind of stuff. Okay, so that is our basic desktop operating system. And desktop operating system also is a client for server. Okay, it is like a client PC. End user device, user, a normal user like me or like you are using a desktop based operating system. Okay, server based operating system, server OSs are support server applications, and also it has a built-in features. Okay, then different type of servers came in. Okay, the server operating system support a certain server applications, built-in features. Okay, server provide a service to clients. Server provide a service to clients. Different type of servers are there. So DHCP server, DNS server, VPN server, web server, file server, mail server, authentication server, proxy server, proxy server. Custom spacing. Somewhat like a one page kind of stuff, so we can look at and you can easily understand. Okay, server operating system has its own built-in features, or by installing certain server applications, the server can able to provide a service to the clients. And different type of servers, okay, DHCP server, DNS server, VPN server, web server, file server, mail server, authentication server, remote desktop server, deployment server, proxy server. What happened to this? Okay, so database servers, for example, I installed a Oracle 21C database, means my machine become database server. In my machine I installed a Tomcat application, then it's become a web server. I installed a Microsoft Exchange application, it's become a mail server. Okay, I configure my Windows server as a deployment server, means I can install operating system to other machines through network. Okay, these are the different type of servers. The last one in this one, guys, of course, we have a Windows 10. Some information about a Windows 10 is there. So I will complete this part and we'll take a day to day. So this is difference between Windows and Linux. You may get a doubt, so people will ask a question in interview or not. But it is a basic information about a Windows and Linux operating system. Okay, so that's why I'm telling guys. So of course, if there is a chance, everything is there is a chance. Sometimes if they ask what you will do, you cannot send out of syllabus. Okay, You cannot say out of syllabus part. Guys, only few points only adding. Okay. Operating system. Linux based operating system is open source operating system. And a lot of people are confused between free and open source. Guys, free operating system, free application does not mean open source. Okay, does not mean open source. Open source means the source code of an application or a source code of an operating system is available to everyone. So any person can be able to source code of an application or source code of a operating system. They can take it and develop it and distribute it. Okay, for example, I want to build my own Linux based operating system. I want to build my own Linux based operating system. So what I will do, I will go to this kernel.org. This is Linux kernel. Linux actually kernel only. Okay, Linux later taken by different people and develop their own operating system. This means they develop both kernel and shell for the different supporting hardware, and their interfaces that are defined. Okay. So kernel Linux architecture, this is 6.2 kernel. You download a kernel and develop the kernel and develop your shell on it, and you can create your own operating system and you can distribute that operating system whether for a certain price or no price also. Okay, so this kernel actually designed by Linus Torvald. Linus Torvalds. Okay, is the guy who built this Linux kernel. Why we should know about him? Because of another point is also there, that is GitHub is also given GitHub. Okay, so even you are not a Linux guy, you are a software related something, still we are the guy name you should be remember, that is also given GitHub. Okay, GitHub, Git and GitHub. Okay, so Linux is open source, no proprietary, no owner is there. Any person can take Linux open source and build your own Linux operating system and distribute it. And Linux is developed by Linus Torvald. Actually, he taken a small part of Unix kernel and developed the Linux kernel. So that's it's a Linux. Okay, and Linux has a powerful CLI. So the CLI is a more powerful than a GUI of Linux kind of stuff. Okay, and Linux has multiple distributions. The lot of distributions we have in a Linux. So in Linux we have a lot of distributions. Okay, Ubuntu Linux, CentOS Linux, Red Hat Enterprise Linux, Fedora, Debian, this kind of Linux operating system is there. Linux is case sensitive in every command, including file, folder kind of stuff. Also, compulsory have to maintain capital letter, small letter kind of stuff. The next one is Linux is free and mainly it is GPL and GNU, general public license wise, and GNU not Unix concept. Okay, so it is a you will get a free Linux operating system mostly. And Linux is virus free. Virus free means generally most of the viruses are created for a Windows attacks purpose only. And Windows is a self-executable .exe. Simply you touch something, backend.exe will run automatically. The .exe self-scriptings are there. It is a simple look like a notepad file. You double click, it is scripted inside as a .exe and it will be run automatically. So it is very easy to attack with a different kind of files because of self-execution, less permission kind of stuff. Whereas a Linux is different architecture from Windows. Different file system we are using, different architecture, different permissions are there. So obviously Windows-based Linux, Windows-based applications won't be run here. Okay, so that environment not supporting here. So Windows-based viruses, it won't be work here. Okay, of course, more Linux we are using as a server. As a server, Linux desktop versions are very less we are using, except Linux Ubuntu desktop and Linux Mint kind of stuff. Most of the Linux operating system we use as a server-based operating systems only. And Linux is not that much easy to start and work with that Linux. We need a trained professional compulsory person has minimum knowledge in the, not minimum knowledge, maximum knowledge in the Linux. Okay. There is a user called a root user is an administrator of Linux, highly privileged user. Linux is multitasking, multi-user mode. Multi-user, multitasking. Less hardware footprint. It means Linux operating system don't require more CPU power, RAM power, disk space, not required. I told you about only Linux, what about Windows? Windows is not a good open source, guys. It is not even an open source, okay? It is a proprietary of Microsoft organization, and Windows operating system is popular because of it is user friendly and GUI based operating system, very less use of CLI. Command line interface is very less. Mostly we are using graphical user interfaces only, okay? Microsoft only distributed their own operating system. Microsoft distributed their own operating system. Okay, it's not like a Linux is distributed by different organizations in a different flavors of Linuxes. In Windows, mostly it is not case sensitive, except in certain places like a password kind of stuff. Okay, in certain cases only, most of the time it is not a case sensitive. And of course, to use a Windows-based operating system, compulsory you have to pay for the license. Of course, certain Windows-based operating systems may not require a license, but generally I'm telling, so Windows-based operating system, you need to pay for licenses. And of course, in Windows, we have a Windows desktop operating system like Windows 10, Windows 11. Windows server operating systems also there like 2016, 2019 kind of stuff. I told only two names, but that's it. Of course, Windows is user friendly. Any person with a basic, aiming a basic computer knowledge or a basic training, so they can start using the Windows system. Of course, there is a administrator account is there in Windows. In generally, that is a administrator of their machine. Of course, admin account is there. Administrator name and as well as admin account is there. That is little typical. But important point is single user, single task. Only one user can log in at a time, but they can do multitasking. Require more hardware footprint. It means to run Windows operating system, you may require comparatively Linux, you may require more CPU power, more disk space, more RAM requirement is also there. Okay, guys, you know, earlier days when I have taken a classes on a DevOps, so I use a Windows virtual machine. Even I taken 2 GB, 4 GB, 6 GB, even 6 GB virtual machine also I can't able to run everything because the background updates, of course, and one is Jenkins I am running, or Docker I am running, or if I do any one or two additional running, it is get freezed. My Windows system is freezed. So later, after a few classes, I shifted to Linux-based machines like a Saint OS. Have taken. I put only 2 GB RAM. I run Docker. I run Jenkins. I run Maven. I run Python. Everything, but still it is running very good way. Okay, of course I deleted it. Okay, so that's the difference, guys. So Windows is a GUI based, so then compulsory GUI based OSs require more hardware footprint. Whereas the Linux kind of stuff or CLI based operating system. So it is not required to put more thing on a process. It is simple to process, right? It is directly text based, so it is easy to process. So we don't require more space, more CPU power, more RAM capacity. Okay, I told general story wise, but this is the Windows and Linux differences. Okay, lead at least once, it may be useful. Any doubt? Yeah, tell me.
Sir, what do you mean by multi-user? Means it is a single operating system the multiple users can use?
Login. Multi-user, multitask. Very good. Okay. So it take one system. Actually, I didn't open my Linux remote machine. So if I open, then I can able to show you. This is my Linux server. So I have a 10 accounts in it. 10 users are there. I created 10 users in it. Physically, you are going to the server and you open one window, first main window, you log in with user one. Second user will come and go to another terminal in same operating system, physically user two. Maybe remotely, people are sitting in remotely. Means like I am sitting in remote network, I connected to my network. Okay. So I'm connecting to this server through network. Users can able to access server through network using putty kind of applications. User 3, user 4, user 5. Either directly or indirectly, the multiple users can log in at a time. At a time. So it is multi-user.
Okay.
Okay. Single user means one user is login, Windows system, single user. One user login, user one login. User two cannot log in from here. You don't have a choice. Or maybe user 3 want to log in from remotely, he cannot able to access. Okay. So once this guy is log out, either directly or remotely, other user can able to log in. So to log in, they have another conditions, but plain wise, I'm telling.
Okay.
Okay, guys. So read about these things, small points only. To hardly take 10 to 15 minutes to read. Okay. So take a break, lunch break, and be back in it tomorrow. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Sir,